Hello and welcome to my channel, The Independent Pianist. I'm your host, Cole Anderson, and today we are talking about a neglected masterwork by the wonderful Fanny Mendelssohn Hensel. The piece is her Lied für das Pianoforte, Opus 8, No. 1. If you enjoy the content on this channel, please do consider making a pledge to my Patreon account at www.patreon.com/independentpianist. Patreon is an online platform that allows viewers like you to support your favorite creators of independent content through monthly pledges. You can set your pledge amount as low as $1, and any amount is vastly appreciated and will help me to continue bringing you this content, so thank you very much for your support. Also, I'm available as a teacher online, and I'm accepting ambitious students at all levels, so whatever your musical goals, I can help you to reach them. Just drop me a line if you're interested at cole@independentpianist.com. So Fanny Mendelssohn was one of the few female composers in Europe in the 19th century who really managed to create an impressive body of creative output in her brief lifetime. She was only 41 at the time of her death in 1847, but her catalog includes about 466 individual works. Although there were only 7 opus published during her lifetime, and she never really received the wider critical acclaim as a performer and composer that her brother did. And the reasons of this, of course, were many. The most obvious was the general kind of suffocating disfavor that was accorded towards female composers, in particular in the 19th century, but really throughout musical history in Europe, until quite recently. And this in itself may not really have mattered to Fanny, given the high regard that her talents as a pianist and composer were held by contemporary professionals and critics, and also by her generally oblivious nature towards criticism in general, except that she also experienced a good deal of resistance to her making her compositions public, both from her father, who was very old-fashioned and expressed the firm conviction that her music could only ever serve as an ornament and not as a professional endeavor for her, and also, I'm sorry to say, from her brother Felix. So it's been really a long time coming with her widespread recognition as a composer of real merit, but I'm glad to say that it is now. She's beginning to be reevaluated and is taking her place as a composer of real importance at that time. Having said all that, Felix and Fanny Mendelssohn had a really interesting and very close relationship. She was the elder of the two by 4 years, and throughout their lives, they remained extremely close as musical and personal confidants. So any time that Felix was working on a composition, he would always seek Fanny's advice, and he pretty much always took it as well. He trusted her more than any other musical source. And really, he was very supportive of her compositional activity. It's just he seems to have inherited some of these stuffy prejudices of their father in regards to her making her compositional talents public. Although he did grudgingly give his approval once she had finally published things on her own without really asking him first. So way to go, Fanny, there, I guess. So just moving on to Fanny's output. Her compositions for the majority are mostly smaller works, but they're of stunningly high quality. And oftentimes, in my opinion, they're really of greater originality and daring than her brother's compositions. I usually find a certain conventional quality to the form in Felix Mendelssohn's writing, and Fanny has a much more free treatment of form, and also a very striking use of chromatic harmony. I think that she kind of was able to transcend this classical limitations that sometimes limit Felix's music. And the year before her death, she began to actually have her songs and piano pieces published. And she made it up to Opus 7 before she died. So the piece that we're looking at today was published soon after her death, posthumously. And the title of this work, Lied für das Pianoforte, or Song for the Piano, obviously relates to Felix Mendelssohn's well-known Lieder ohne Worte, Songs Without Words. Felix had published his first set in 1829, but at this point it doesn't really seem possible to tell which of the siblings really originated this idea of composing character pieces for the solo piano that were intended to mimic the style of a song for voice and piano. Fanny wrote these pieces throughout her life, and even though she only published them, of course, later on. She probably deserves at least half the credit, though, considering how close they were in discussing all musical matters together. throughout European musical history, female composers have been really marginalized, but that's changing now. And I'm very glad to say that we're entering a very exciting period. We're able now to appreciate the music of great contemporary female composers. The list keeps growing. There's a few that come immediately to my mind, like Sofia Gubaidulina, Koya Serya Aho, Libby Larson, Joan Tower, Carolyn Shaw, just to name a few. But in addition to that, we're also starting to reevaluate the lives of these great female musicians from the past. And these lives were sometimes tragic, but always fascinating. And as in the case with Fanny Mendelssohn's enormous output of more than 460 works, there are treasure troves of music by prolific female composers from the past that were marginalized in the retelling of musical history and that now are just waiting to be explored, interpreted, recorded, and take the place that they deserve in the canon of classical works. So I'm very happy to be doing my small part in this by presenting this little piece by Fanny Mendelssohn today. So please do enjoy that. I'll have another kind of unusual piece next week for Christmas Day, and then the following week I'm planning to finish up my upload of Rachmaninoff's First Piano Concerto, so please stay tuned for that. And have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever holiday you're celebrating, and stay safe and keep well. Until next time, thank you very much.